Networking is a big part of our club activities. So missing this personal touch is definitely challenging for us.
I think what we've found is on new deals, it's much harder to sort of really get a gauge of management teams and build rapport with them over Zoom than it is face to face. And that's because whilst you can see the facial expressions and the body language to an extent, you just can't get a feel for the mood in the room, and you also can't get a feel for how they interact with each other. And so I think we found it much harder from that perspective than when you're actually there in the room.
Ensuring that motivation levels across my team remain high, and that all members of the team continue to remain well in sync.
With private equity, which is important to understand, is that it is a people business. The subtleties of a negotiation, of spending time understanding an investment, of spending time understanding the dynamics of an individual or of a team, is done in person and has been since the evolution and the creation of the business. And this is on the margin felt as the diligence and processes and portfolio reviews and time spent with management, all of this takes a little bit longer trying to fill that gap of that human contact.
I've really enjoyed working from home, and I think there's lots of benefits to it. And I hope that that will continue post-quarantine, especially when we don't have some of the stresses and strains on our home situations, like things like homeschooling. But what we really need to do is make sure that we maintain boundaries so that people don't get burnt out and so that they can separate their personal lives from their professional ones. Video calling has been essential. I think it's really helped in this current environment to increase communication actually from where it was. What I think has got lost though is the social banter. So doing social activities with the team has really been worthwhile.
Current environment has resulted in us connecting with people in different way, particularly around their own personal circumstances. That has been positive, I think.
I would say business relationships have changed. Look, there are clearly challenges. I think not meeting people face to face, you lose something definitely. Having said that, if you think about our boards, given the volatility that's in the market at the moment, it's important for our boards to be meeting regularly. And that means we're having more discussion with our management teams. We're having a lot of really high quality strategic discussion at the moment. And I think that can only be a good thing for our relationships with our teams.
There is more of a common understanding about availability and the constraints that we all now share. I feel less uncomfortable if I have to tell clients I need to spend a couple of hours with the children, or if the call's urgent, even taking a call while the children are in the background. And this has all worked really well, except maybe on one occasion when the managing director of a new French GP client of ours decided to call me on my mobile when I was with my 3-year-old, and she began shouting in no uncertain terms that she needed the toilet.
Video calling has been essential. I think it's really helped in this current environment to increase communication actually from where it was.
The big benefit of working from home has been cutting out the commute and also travel time between meetings. On the other hand, we've had to prioritise better and be more efficient in terms of planning our day around our families.
We're definitely going to continue with our webinars because we found out that it's absolutely amazing format, and we're going to mix live events together with webinar formats.
Whilst we'll still have very regular face-to-face meetings, our standard dial-ins that we've potentially used in the past will be replaced with VC. So we will video conference for weekly calls, for project updates. And I think that was happening to an extent anyway, but I think COVID-19 will massively accelerate the trend.
The habits that I will take with me after the lockdown is over is the ability to do Zoom calls with participants in the market. It's unbelievable how often we speak on transactions, on live deals and to LPs all the time, but it's really via a regular phone call. It's so wonderful to put faces to voices so much more often using Zoom or Google Hangouts or your favorite video platform.
Video conferencing has been very much the norm during lockdown. We've been approached by a good many GP clients that have expressed interest in having online investor pitch training instead of the conventional face-to-face format, which is arguably more relevant at the moment for investors anyway, since any discussions with investors are going on over video conferencing. And I think after lockdown has ended, there will be more GP clients interested in the online training, particularly GPs in different geographies, because it saves on travel expenses. And then also when they're in their discussions with LPs, that will save again on travel expenses for the initial discussions, at least. I'd say for first time meetings, it's fine. But then obviously post lockdown, LPs will need to eventually meet with the GP.
The pandemic has really brought this to the masses and brought it home to us that we don't always need to be in an office. We don't always need to be traveling. We don't always need to be going from one meeting to another. We can find an alternative to be able to work efficiently, effectively, to work in groups, to work in teams, to work individually, and to be able to advance our work in a very constructive manner. And this has been a real revelation to many people. And I think, it will continue post the pandemic.